All right, it is that time of the year, believe it or not. We are in fall. I can't believe it. We are almost in October, so that means it is time for the October talk about what we need to be harvesting, what we need to be doing in the garden, and so forth. I still can't believe we're almost in October. It's just literally a few days away, but we are, and so we've got some stuff to do. I'm Chrissy from Up the Windy Lane, and today we're going to talk about all those great chores that we get to do in October. All right, October. So you'll notice that it feels different now maybe. The year is starting to change. It is officially fall, and so our days are getting shorter here. I don't know about yours. The temperatures are going down. The sun is not in the sky as much, which I'm kind of bummed about, but I am really loving the temperature change of a morning and at night. It's still kind of warm here in the daytime, which is great for the garden right now, but the temperatures are getting cooler. Now the leaves are going to be starting to change around here soon, and that is one of my very favorite times of the year. I love fall, but I'm not loving how my garden is doing so far this year in the fall. I was hoping to have more stuff in the garden growing, and that has just not happened. So we may be picking our last summer fruits this month. I know for us, we're gonna get our first frost this month, about mid-month probably, hopefully mid-month, no earlier. So I'm gonna be probably picking my last of my peppers and my tomatoes and so forth. And it's just gonna be time to get all those root crops out of the ground and all that good stuff. Now, you may be trying to plant for the fall and winter, and that's great. My plans have not worked out so well, so I really don't have a whole lot. Here comes Mavis. I don't have a whole lot in there. I've got some beets in there and things like that. All right, Mavis, things like that, but not as much as what I was hoping for. All my plans did not go as I wanted them. My starts didn't get going and so forth, and I've just had some weird bugs in there, and the squash bugs have been horrible. So it's gonna be time to clean up the garden. I do have 12 beds that are not going to be planted, and nothing's going to be in them for the fall and winter other than maybe a cover crop or something like that. I do have some winter rye that I want to try out, so that may go in those beds, and so all those beds are going to have to be, all that stuff's going to be have to taken out, removed, and I'm probably just going to lay it back down in there and let it die off and add some more organic matter to those beds. But that is the plan for those 12 beds. So some of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be harvesting the rest of our summer vegetables. Now if you do have, lucky enough to get your pumpkins without the squash bugs or the chickens killing them, then you're going to want to cure those in the sun for a little bit, or those winter squashes. I do have some of those, so I can cure those, but you will be, now you will be planting garlic, and you can plant onions and your rhubarb and your bare root trees if you have bare root fruit plants and things like that. Bushes and so forth, you can plant those now as well as it's cooling down and they're all dormant. You can plant salads. Salad crops love this cooler weather. They do not really care for the summer, so salad is a really great thing. I know it's kind of weird that salad, we love salad in the summer when it doesn't really like to grow in the summer, but it grows good in the winter in that cooler time, and I don't really think about salad as much, I guess, in the winter. But that is one thing that I am going to try to plant, is some of those fall salads, those leaves, those oriental leaves and stuff like that. They may have to be covered because of the frost, but they should grow okay. And so we're going to definitely want to clear away things and compost things and keep our compost going for the winter. I had to move where there's a little bit of a seat for me. You can see my green pool behind me. That's getting ready to get winterized and closed for the summer. We've actually not used it as much this year. So some harvesting you can do would be cabbage. You can cabbage. You can harvest your parsnips. If you planted some peas for the fall, you can harvest your peas. You can harvest broccoli. October is probably the last month for calabrese, but sprouting broccoli may actually continue through until later in the year. So you may be able to get some broccoli later. Eggplants, it says you may be able to get those, but it's gonna have to be under cover. So a lot of these plants are gonna have to be covered, especially when that frost starts coming through, just like the salad greens and things like that. Turnips can stay in the ground for a few more months. Sweet potatoes, those sweet potatoes that I have that are going crazy, those vines are driving me nuts. You can dig those up this month. So I'm excited about October and digging those up, because they can be attacked by slugs and things if you leave them in the ground. So we definitely don't want that. They will stay good indoors for a little while if they are dried in the sun. So that is something that I haven't done before. I'm going to be drying my sweet potatoes in the sun, just like you do pumpkins and squashes. So we're going to set those out for a little bit in this nice fall sun. Now celery, this will be the time you're going to be harvesting that. Pumpkins and winter squashes are going to be harvested this month if you were lucky enough to get any. I have a few squashes that I can harvest, but pumpkins were a no. The chickens ate them and the squash bugs got them, so I didn't fare too well on those. Now if you planted leeks, beets, green beans, cauliflowers, this is going to be the time harvest. So you're going to pull your beets this month. If you leave them too long, they're gonna get woody, and that is not cool. The green beans, now green beans you can either harvest and eat, or you can leave and they would dry on the vine, and you can save those if you would like to. You can also harvest Brussels sprouts and carrots and chilies and peppers and fennel and kohlrabi, which I'm really sad about. I didn't get more of that. But runner beans, spinach, I've never had good luck with that one either. So winter radishes, which I planted and something ate them, something killed them. I don't even know. But there's lots of salads and fruits that we can harvest in October. So your lettuces were grown from seed from, say, midsummer-ish. Those should be ready, and those you can start, even if you haven't been harvesting them. Mine are actually going to seed, so I need to plant some more. The tomatoes mine are still ripening, so I'm just gonna leave those until the frost comes and kills them, and then I'm just gonna put them down in the beds, cut them up and put them down in the beds. We can plant those salad greens, so that's really cool. If you have apple trees or your grapes and pears, raspberries, all that kind of stuff, you may be able to go ahead and pick those. My apples are newer trees. I've never actually picked any apples off my trees. They would get so big and the goats would get out and they would eat the bark off of them and kill them. And then, so I got new ones about a year ago, so they're not producing anything yet. Which I'm kind of sad about, but you know, I can still buy organic apples somewhere, and that's what I do. So support somebody else, huh? You can also harvest strawberries. It says, I've never harvested strawberries this late, but it does say that pick the last of them maybe, so because they won't survive the frost. I am going to be planting some strawberry plants out in the fruit area. Got to get those off the porch and get those out there before it does get really cold. Sowing and planting in October, you actually can do some. At this time of year though, plants do typically go into their dormant season or their dormant period. So if you're buying like bare root plants, this will be the time that you're going to do that, like fruit bushes and stuff like that, and you can plant those if they're bare root. It is the month for sowing and planting crops that don't mind the winter cold. So like broad beans, spring cabbages, garlic sets, onion sets, rhubarb, which actually was weird because I planted my rhubarb in the spring because that's when it came out, when they were selling it. So I don't know if that was wrong or not. I guess we'll see if it comes back up. Greens such as kale can be planted in a milder south. So I'm actually going to try to plant some more. I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to try to plant some more for fall and winter. All right, so those cabbages, October is your last chance to probably transplant. Now I'm going to try. I'm going to push it, and I am still going to try to plant some things. And even though this book says I can't do it or I shouldn't do it, I'm still going to try. I'm going to cover stuff. I'm going to get that caterpillar tunnel going, and I'm going to get some things out there. So peas and cauliflowers, early summer cauliflowers, it says you can plant seeds to sow. I don't know, we'll see. Onion sets. So if you have your onions, you can overwinter onions, and that way they come up in the spring. This will be your last month to probably do that. I guess for me, I don't know. I mean, if you have warmer climates, you might be good. Rhubarb plants should be entering their dormant period, and that's why mine have died off, which I'm glad because I was afraid they were actually dying, and then they looked really cool when they came up, and I was really excited about having rhubarb next year, because you are possibly going to have less in your garden. I know I am, so it's going to be a good time for me to clean up. It's going to be a good time for me to if I want to change anything, move raised beds, or, which is a really big undertaking, but if I want to move any, or if I want to construct any or deconstruct any, or whatever it may be, then this would be the time to do that, to kind of clean up before, you know, we get into like spring and all that, and get into a really busy time. Now, some jobs for October, of course, you're going to be clearing away that vegetation that's there. You don't want to leave all that up there. You're going to remove plant supports. You're just basically going to clean up. You're not going to leave it until spring. You're going to clean it up, because if you don't, you're going to have stuff come up, and it's just going to cause a mess. So you can break up your heavy soil. I'm going to do a little bit of that with not a broad fork, but I actually bought like a potato fork for my smaller beds, and so I'm going to do that. You can dig in green manures, which is part of what I'm going to do. You can also cover your beds with plastic sheeting to keep the weeds down. You definitely can cut down the asparagus, which is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to love every minute of it. And then I am going to attempt to move those somewhere. So if you do have Brussels sprouts still going, you can heal those up. You're going to be curing those pumpkins and those squashes. You're going to get the carrots out of there. Unless you're covering stuff up, you're going to be getting some stuff out of there. So there's just lots to do in October. You're basically going to be cleaning up and covering stuff up. You're going to be getting those drying out your beans for storage. You're going to be covering or planting cover crops. You could be harvesting your apples and your pears if you have those, which I don't. You're going to want to prune blackberry bushes or raspberries, which I need to do. And this would be the time to order, if you need new trees and things like that, to be looking at stuff. And I know some of my family is planning like next year's garden, so I probably should do that, but I still have stuff I want to plant now. So there are still some diseases. You can still have some of those pests floating around and hanging out, crawling around. I know I do. Squash bugs are still out, and I wish they would go away. So if you have any ideas, be sure to share those below, because they need to go away. That is about it. Once those leaves start falling, I will be mulching those, and I put those on my raised beds, and it really works well. It breaks that soil down. I can tell a big difference in my older raised beds that I've done that for about 3 years now, and I can tell a big difference. The soil is different. It's fluffier, it's lighter, so it's just a great way to add organic matter, and it covers everything up, keeps the weeds down, and it's just right here. It's free. It just takes me a little bit of time using my leaf mulcher. So that is something to do. I do have that little wood mulcher that I haven't used a whole lot. I did try it out, and it works really well, but that requires I need to clean up. If we've got sticks and stuff like that, then I'm going to be cleaning that up and mulching that. But that is October, which I can't believe we're actually here for October already. It's kind of crazy, but if you've not, this book is really cool, The Kitchen Garden, and it's just kind of a month by month to kind of give you an idea of some stuff you can be doing or not be doing in your garden. So be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.